Armchair.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
Why did you get so drunk?
You got drunk. I'm just really exhausted.
What's in that cup?
Arma Cokes?
Do you have any idea how important this is? We're trying to save the pub girl. Really, this is what you're doing? This is what you're doing?
Chief, what do you want to do tonight?
Same thing we do every night. Try to take over the world.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Armchair.
YouTube Live?
Radio station.
The radio station you can call your own. Do you know what listeners like about our station?
I like everything. It's always on my radio.
We never stop the music, except for now, when I talk.
Well, the season's finally here, and the players hit the field, and every man feels like a boy, and every wife could kill. He's been buying beer since August, running hot and running cold, and 30 friends are on alert, that's all the den'll hold. 'Cause he's the armchair quarterback, he's full of beer and he's full of snacks, the all-American man. Yeah, the armchair quarterback. He's kind of fun and he's kind of bad. The all-American man. Well, if you stand and block the screen, you may just lose your life. And that goes for all 30 friends and 30 friends' wives.
Good morning. We're going to get this figured out a little smoother next time. I didn't realize I had some capabilities that I do have, so we'll get a better intro by next week, but I was playing around with some ideas. How are you, Bobby?
I'm doing great. We're 1 week away from football, and I can't be happier.
Yeah, we've got – well, football actually starts this weekend if you're a college football fan. Yeah. NFL starts in 2 weeks. We've got the final warm-up. I think you're going to see more starters play in this preseason than you have seen in past week threes, because when they first started, they really didn't know what in the heck to do, right? Because everybody was so used to them playing 3 games, and when they played 3 games, week 3 was the final suit-up, and week 4 was everybody that's going to be working at Home Depot next week, right?
Yeah.
So now I think they're starting to realize, because they're giving you a full 2 weeks off, you want to get a lot of your starters, and they won't all play, but you're going to see more than what you saw last year, I believe. What say you?
Yeah, I think you're going to see more starters. I kind of liked the 4 preseason models or 4 preseason game models, because it gave you more of an idea, or it gave not really us, because there's not a whole lot of entertainment value in it, but it gave the front offices of teams a little bit more of an idea of
you like
guys on the
you like
brig.
4 games.
What's that?
Are you saying that you like the 4 games model better?
I do. Well, I do for when it comes to just team building in the NFL, because it gives the front offices more of an idea on those guys on the brink of the roster, on who to keep, who to let go of. So I think it all, but because of that, because it's gone.
I get that argument, but from a fan standpoint, just get the hell off the TV.
That's fair. That's fair.
It tricked fans into watching something that really isn't watchable.
Yes, week 4 of preseason was garbage. It always was.
Josh Allen back to back choke jobs in Kansas City. He's going to go to defend his title as the runner-up. AFC. Yeah, baby, suck on that. Welcome in, everybody, here this morning. I know a lot of y'all are listening as you're riding around or hiding in your office. I know everybody won't be chatting, but we got a lot of good feedback. We're live to the public this week. Thought it'd be a good week to lift the veil and not just do the members only and then release it. We got the SEC tomorrow. Bobby and I today are going to talk about the AFC, and we've already gone over AFC South. So if you're looking for AFC South teams, that's why you're not getting it. You want to go back and watch our original video for the, I believe it was the first video that we did for this year under our Armchair Quarterback Show 2025 playlist that we have. So if you're curious about any of those teams, we did a deep dive on both divisions because we live in the South. We're surrounded by AFC and NFC South fans. That's why we started off with it. Now we're trying to get back. Last week we did the NFC, and these are the Thursday shows. Friday shows are the college football. If you're trying to search it, trying to figure it out. And next week we are going to give you our championship futures, meaning we'll probably mix in some division winners, even though we kind of go over it in these first three, but we're definitely talking about making the playoffs and how deep of a run you can go, whether you win the conference or win the Super Bowl, all your typical props. One thing I will like to say to you, because I know you're not a huge baseball fan, but you try to keep up, you have a reason to now be a big Atlanta Braves fan.
Okay.
The kid that pitched last night, he has been unbelievable. His name is Hurston Waldrop. He was a first-round pick in 2023.
Okay.
From the Florida Gators. And his interview, I've got it queued up for tomorrow's Braves Country Today show. He says all the right things. Yeah. He is an impressive kid. And I'm not just saying that because he's a Braves fan or because I'm a Braves fan. I'm saying that you hear a lot of interviews from kids coming up from the farm, and there's usually a lot of they don't know what the hell to say, and instead he said all the right things. So it's a pretty impressive interview. If y'all want to check it out, it'll be tomorrow on the Braves Country Today. Nice. We'll do that after the college football show. Okay. AFC, and the last time we saw the AFC, the Bills lost a game that I felt like they should have won. Yeah. It was the last few minutes where Josh Allen did Josh Allen things, and he just couldn't get the damn job done. They were right there. All they do is get in field goal range, and I believe that they're going to end up winning that game. Instead, Kansas City's defense stepped up, rushed him a little bit. He made a couple of boneheaded mistakes. The entire team played like crap in that last stretch, and so they were going up against Kansas City. So Kansas City wins the AFC Championship, and then they get gut stomped. Yeah, gut stomped in the Super Bowl. We have not seen a butt kicking in the Super Bowl like that in quite some time.
Yeah, that was.
Have you ever lived through that? Because that was actually commonplace for me as a kid. There was like a 5 to 10 year stretch where you almost expected an absolute boat race. You just never knew who the hell was going to win.
Yeah, that the Super Bowl between Seattle and Denver. I think it was in 20. I want to say 20.
Oh, that's right. That
one was just a mauling. But since then, I don't think there's been a Super Bowl quite as one-sided as the one.
There wasn't one before that in your lifetime, right? Because you're in your early 20s.
Yeah, not to my knowledge.
I can't think of one other than that one, the Legion of Boom.
Yeah, that was a tremendous beatdown.
Yes,
and you could tell it was going that way from the first play of the game.
And honestly, it only happens when one side has just an incredibly dominant defense.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
And I'm talking about, I grew up in the era, I'm Gen X, so I grew up in the era where you saw the Bears do it to the Pats, you saw the 49ers do it. Felt like everybody, but Denver was the absolute obliteration.
Yeah.
John's still mad at Dalton Kincaid. You gonna draft him in your fantasy team there, John? Good to see you, Royal. Yeah, but I mean, it was like every other year, or it felt like every year. There were some good Super Bowls growing up in the 80s, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I remember the Raiders stomping the defending Super Bowl champion Redskins, which is like, what the hell? Like, you thought the Raiders could win. You didn't think it was going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
I remember the Dolphins getting just boat raced by San Francisco and Joe Montana. Every single time it was because the team that won it had a dominant defense. And I know Philadelphia took some hits this year, with their defense and free agency. But I'm just hoping we don't get another Super Bowl like that, because it's been really cool the last several years, last couple of decades plus, where you look for the Super Bowl, you're like, I expect to see a good game. They're not all epic. They're not all like the Kansas City win over Philly or the Kansas City win over San Francisco.
Yeah.
But they're usually competitive. Even the one where Tom Brady and company finally put away Kansas City, it was still a good game up until the third quarter plus.
You still felt like there was a tinge of hope that the Chiefs were still in it.
Right. You didn't go,
Oof.
holy crap.
Yeah.
Halftime, what do I do? Bet the under, bet the over? What am I betting on now? I mean, you talk about an obliteration. I did okay in that one because I did feel like Philadelphia had the better team, but I missed out on some of the things when I did like some player props on Kansas City and stuff like that. Cause you knew they were going to give them a hard time that front. You didn't think it was going to be to the point where it just felt like as soon as the ball was snapped, Patrick Mahomes was getting just ambushed.
Yeah. Well, and it was kind of shades of how the Bucs Chiefs Super Bowl went when they beat the Chiefs, just by that putting so much pressure on Mahomes, just getting to him and overwhelming him. And it's not a fault of Patrick Mahomes. It's just nothing he could do. He just didn't have time to get the offense going.
Right. So 2 weeks from today, we'll be having our Armchair Quarterbacks Fantasy Football Draft live here on the air. Next week, we may do a mock draft. I'll see if I can figure out a way to squeeze it in and make sure that it starts on time, and I'll give you the link and everything. If not, we'll do something fantasy football related today. I just wanted to get your opinion on you're doing the quarterbacks, right?
Yes. So yeah, we got 2 quarterback loves and 2 quarterback hates.
Let me hear them.
All right. What do you want me to start with? Love or hates?
Whatever you want. Whatever makes you feel more tingly.
Hatred fuels me, so I'll go with hate. I'm just kidding. So my first one up, I'm going with Justin Fields. I've seen him relatively high on some quarterback rankings on some websites. I typically go off Fantasy Pros. They tend to be a pretty reliable website with just keeping track of ADP and also consensus rankings. But I don't like how high I'm seeing him solely because of his rushing upside. He's still not a very good quarterback. We know this. It's been proven time and time again. He's got a very bad receiving core. Outside of Garrett Wilson, their receiving core is just abysmal. And then it's the first-year coach, and it's also one that's a very defensive-minded coach. That's not typically
you know what? Outside of everything else, I think it's going to be a dull-ass team to watch.
Yeah, of course. And that's typically what it is with these first-year coaches, especially on defensive-minded coaches. It's just the offense tends to be pretty dull. It doesn't tend to be a very fun product to watch, and I think that's just going to make for not a lot of fantasy points for Justin Fields this year. I just think it's a good recipe also. Just not overdraft quarterbacks who just aren't that good. So, yeah, I would stay away from Justin Fields. Now, do you want me to flip over? What's up?
Question. Conversely, are you staying away from like Garrett Wilson and the other components that are going relatively high in fantasy?
Garrett Wilson, I wouldn't reach for him too high. I would maybe pick him depending on how many people are in your league, like round 3. I wouldn't go too high with him though. I wouldn't. So. Now the interesting aspect of the Jets offense in terms of fantasy is their running game. Breece Hall also has mentioned several times that this regime in charge right now isn't the one who drafted him, so he has to prove a lot to them. And I think he's going to do that, and I think they'll probably lean on him quite a bit this year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Fields gets the ball out to Wilson. Okay, Who is your next hate?
My next hate is Drake May, and it's not because I don't think he's a good quarterback. I think he's got a lot of talent, but I'm seeing him ranked in like the low teens areas, and that's right on the brink of being a starting quarterback for some fantasy teams, depending on how late you wait to put off drafting a quarterback. I'm not counting on him having that big of a leap, especially when there's still not a very good team around him. He has 2 rookies blocking for him on the left side of the offensive line, and I like Will Campbell. I like the pick a lot, but there's a lot of question marks about him and his arm length. He has very short arms for a tackle. And that's concerning for a year 1 left tackle being thrown to the wolves like that. And also Mike Vrabel. I mean, you followed the Titans for a very long time. You know how poor he is at hiring offensive coordinators. That will not be a surprise if that continues.
I do think that they're going to make a serious run at the playoffs this year, though.
I think they might. I
agree with you as far as being very hesitant to draft a Drake May unless he's like your second or third quarterback, especially if you're in a best ball league.
Yeah,
but
and I'm seeing him at 13 or 14 on some boards, which I think is crazy.
So in most leagues, you're talking about he's one of the first backups taken.
Yeah. If you're in a 12-man league, or even if
a little too high.
Yeah, and if you wait too long to draft your quarterback too, if you try to put it off one more round, you could be looking at him as being your QB1 option, which I think is insane. I would not pick him as a high-end quarterback too. I would say he's in a 12-man league, he would probably be a low-end quarterback too for me. So
yeah, and I really think he might be a guy you just leave alone and see where the dust settles and see if possibly you could get him off the waiver wire if he does end up taking off.
Yeah, I think the Patriots will improve under Mike Vrabel. I don't think it'll result in a whole lot of fantasy points for Drake May, though.
Yeah, honestly, I don't believe that he is going to be someone. I think in a lot of leagues, he doesn't even get drafted.
Yeah.
Because
put him
in a
like
lot of leagues, you don't even draft a quarterback. You'll just stream somebody.
Yeah.
All right, what about your loves?
My loves, my first one, I'm going to go with Jared Goff here. Last year, he finished 6th amongst quarterbacks in fantasy football, and I'm seeing him ranked in like the 15 to 20 range. I feel like a big part of fantasy quarterback production is the team around them, and the Lions have as good of a surrounding cast as you can ask for Jared Goff here. You can count on guys who have an easy job playing quarterback. He got 6th last year. He's being ranked way too low. I think he's being undervalued. I think he's a high-end like backup quarterback in fantasy here. In a 12-man league, you could even get away with probably having him as your starter. He finished 6th last year amongst quarterbacks. I just think, it's not obviously you have to have talent, to be a good quarterback and to put up good fantasy numbers. But so much of it has to do with the surrounding cast, and he has an ample one. That's for sure.
And what else you got?
My second love, and I know this is a bit of, obviously, I think everybody is in the same boat as me. But I'll explain why. I have Lamar Jackson. He should be QB1 in every fantasy league. I know it's kind of a toss-up between him and Josh Allen in a lot of leagues. But he's worth every bit of where you're going to draft him. And I would say like early round 3, I would consider start drafting him. He was 50 points ahead of all other quarterbacks in fantasy last year. He was on another level in terms of fantasy.
Lamar Jackson.
What's that?
Are you talking about Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah, and I know he's in a lot of leagues. He'll be the first quarterback off the board, but I'm saying I would draft him even earlier than he's probably going to be going. I know people.
To me, give me Josh Allen because I know what he's going to do. Give me Josh Allen. That's one of my loves because the only reason why I say that is you look at the last 3 years, Josh Allen's consistently right there. He's at the top. And I get what you're saying with Lamar Jackson, but it seems like he has these peaks and valleys.
That's fair.
And the only thing that really scares me about Lamar Jackson is does he get vultured even more? Now, I do believe the reason why he was so dominant last year in fantasy was because of Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Because the defense were coming in. As long as Derrick Henry puts out the same kind of production and has that same where you have to be worried about him 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
I totally agree that Lamar Jackson is probably the best of the best.
Yeah.
I just don't know 100% about that. And honestly, I don't believe in the Buffalo running game except for Josh Allen's legs. And I think Josh Allen, if you look at a lot of the numbers, James Cook is very unlikely to do the same thing that he did last year on touchdowns and whatnot. So with that being said, I believe that Josh Allen may get more rushing touchdowns this year than he did last year. And we probably won't have time to do it, but if we were doing a hate, I would probably have James Cook up there. And the reason why is it's not that I don't think he's a good running back. I don't think he's going to get the same amount of touchdowns as he did last year. So he's being drafted off that touchdown number.
Yep.
But there are some people that totally agree with me. Some people are like, no, man, he's going to do the same thing. All right. I could be wrong. And he surprised me last year. So I will put that out there. I was wrong about him last year.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, and the offseason drama too.
So Lamar Jackson, you love at quarterback.
Yep. Jared Goff as well.
Jared Goff.
And then my two hates are Fields and May.
So as far as Goff goes, it doesn't concern you about losing his OC?
Not a whole lot, no. I think they'll be fine hiring another offensive coordinator. I think they may see a slight drop off going from Ben Johnson to someone else, but considering he finished 6th last year and I'm seeing him ranked like in the late teens on many websites, I think that's a bit too low. I think that's pretty harsh because he still has the talent around him. I think Jameer Gibbs at the backfield.
I don't think you're going to see the creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of those trick plays that
they were wild. Yeah.
Yes, they were genius.
I do think those will stick around in Dan Campbell's head though, and I think he'll work to implement them in some way. So.
I'll just give you a couple of loves, and then we'll move on to the,
sure.
Obviously Josh Allen, but I feel like I'm picking low hanging fruit when I do something like that.
I hear you.
A lot of people are kind of on the fence about it, dude. I think Dak Prescott's going to have a hell of a year. He's loaded at the wide receiver options. The wide receivers, everything in the passing game of the Cowboys is going to go early in fantasy drafts.
Yeah.
Not necessarily about the running game because you don't know who really is going to be the bell cow. It looks right now it's going to be Williams, but you're not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But I think Dallas, when Dak Prescott's healthy, and obviously that's the big thing, Dak Prescott normally puts up big fantasy numbers.
Yep.
So I do like Prescott a lot. He's going a 10th quarterback overall. I think that's a little absurd that he's behind Kyler Murray.
I agree.
That he's behind – honest engine, should he be behind Bo Nix, considering the fact that Bo Nix, you don't know if he's going to have a sophomore slump?
Yeah, I'm a little iffy on Bo Nix. I didn't want to put him.
The weapons that Dak has at the offense or the receiving core are a hell of a lot better than what Bo Nix has.
Yeah.
What Bo Nix has that Dak doesn't have is the ability to take off.
Yeah.
And as far as hates, guys that I'm like, just stop it. I'm not getting burned by CJ Stroud again. He's just going to have to burn me the other way.
Yeah.
Not doing it.
Yeah.
Not doing it. And the other guy that I think, look, he's going low in the draft, so I know this isn't a big jump to say that you hate somebody, but can I get a full year of Michael Penix Jr. before we start blowing up the Falcons offense and saying that it's the next great thing? The few games that he played last year, it was a really weak schedule down the stretch.
Yeah.
And two of the teams that he played, they were benching guys because they had nothing to play for.
Yeah.
So Penix, I'm pulling for him. I hope everything turns out well.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that the Falcons can move Cousins along on some kind of a draft pick, because the incredibly stupid thing that they did was that they drafted Penix the same year they put a big-time deal together with the brand-new quarterback. That didn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to be stuck with it. I don't think anybody's going to trade for Cousins, and if they do, they're not getting much out of it.
Yeah, well, and most of that contract's are guaranteed as well, so it was just a colossal mistake.
Yeah, they're going to have to hope that if someone gets injured, I'm talking about a major quarterback, not one of the ones at the bottom where they're like, you know what, we'll just tank. I'm talking about a team that had high hopes. They're going to have to hope that someone would make a trade for him. Like a Dak Prescott, right? It would have to be like a Dak Prescott. It would have to be he doesn't really fit into some of the other offenses. But let's say if they're playing well and Joe Burrow goes down for 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to play well because I think their defense is going to be horrible. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the over-unders before we run out of time. All right, here we go. Over-unders, Baltimore Ravens. There's the screen for the Baltimore Ravens schedule so you can see it real quick, and you can pause it if you want to look at it, and then we'll take it off the screen. We'll do that with all these teams. Baltimore Ravens, over under 11.5, a minus 130. So you get a plus 110 if you take the under. Are you over or are you under?
I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over with the Ravens. I think they have a schedule where it's achievable. I think they'll have no problem with the Browns. And even if they split with the other 3 teams in the division, which I think is pretty realistic, I still think they get over that mark just with the out-of-conference game or out-of-division games they play.
Yeah, Justin, the sign up is a shut off. We've already done the drawing for the draft. Jump in next year. We went on and on and on about it for 2 weeks on the baseball show. So next year, just let me know. You're more than welcome. And you can also play if you do fantasy baseball. We do a fantasy baseball league as well. Okay. Yeah, I got to take the over. Just because they just seem methodical. I mean, they give a damn if they lose a preseason game.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like to me that Harbaugh takes the foot off the pedal.
Yeah.
That first game against Buffalo is going to be tough because it's in Buffalo. It's a night game.
Yeah.
So that's a toss-up. But outside of that, they're going to pound the living hell out of Cleveland, especially if they lose to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yes.
No Flacco.
Oh, man.
Looking for some dump-offs in that game. They host Detroit. I do think they win that. They're at Kansas City, so they got a tough start to the season.
Yeah.
And then they host Houston, L.A., Rams, and Chicago. I think they're going to be very successful in that run.
Yep.
They're at Miami, at Minnesota, at Cleveland. Still think they probably get 2 of those.
I think they probably get 3. Or, well, I'm sorry. I was looking at New York as well on top
All
of that.
3 are road games. That's difficult.
Yeah. I would say, or sorry, I was looking at the Jets too on top. I thought we were go through 4 again.
And then after that, you get Jets, Bengals, Pittsburgh at home. They might run the table on that.
Absolutely, yeah.
At Cincinnati, home against New England, at Green Bay, at Pittsburgh. And so those last 2 games could really mean something, but they may be taking their foot off the pedal. Who is it that's been playing quarterback the last 2 years for Huntley?
I want to say he signed with the Browns.
Yeah. He's gone. He's gone. Yeah. It surprised me because they always need him.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to wait for him to get released and then put him on the practice squad.
I'm sure.
He's not a great quarterback, but he fits their system well, and he can beat a Pittsburgh in the last game of the season on a flex team where Pittsburgh has to win the game to get to 500 or get over.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like them a lot. We'll go ahead and move on. Next one is the Buffalo Bills. And Buffalo Bills, you're looking at a team that, man, if there's ever been a year that they're going to be coming back hungry and feel like that they now look, this has happened before with them falling to Kansas City, but you got to look at this team and say, if not now, when the hell are you going to kick the door in? And their over-under is 11.5 minus 160, which means Vegas thinks it's very possible. And the Bills are plus 135 if you take the under. What say you?
I'm going with the over here. Like you said, they're coming back with a vengeance this year, and their strength of schedule is very favorable for them. Of course, they play in a pretty easy division. You know, they'll get to play the Jets. They'll get to play the Dolphins, who are relatively easy. And yeah, they play New England as well, of course. And out of conference or out of the division, they play the NFC North. So they play the Saints, they play the Panthers, they play the Falcons. I think they win all 3 of those games. The Bucs one might be tricky, but they're playing that game at home in mid-November. So I think that's going to favor them quite a bit. So I think they'll probably pick up all 4 of those wins.
They should start off really strong. Put the Baltimore game aside, win, lose, or draw that game, right?
Yeah.
The Jets, Miami, Saints, New England, and the Miami, New Orleans, New England games are all at home, and then at Atlanta.
Yeah.
They've got to be at that point, I would think, worst case scenario 4-2.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with you there.
Carolina off the bye week. Come on now.
I mean, off some rest against Carolina, they'll win that game.
And then they'll be at home against Kansas City. They've got to be fired up for that because you need to get freaking home field.
Yep. And I know also with Kansas City is they tend to not – it seems like they don't care as much about regular season games, at least early on. Like you see these games against teams
last
that
year was weird because they actually played pretty well all year long. But you're right. Normally, they seem to stumble out of the gate.
Yep. So I think they could win that Kansas City game. Then at Miami, that one might be a little bit tricky. Home against Tampa Bay, but yeah, they have an easy schedule playing in the division they do, and then playing the NFC South teams. So yeah, I like the schedule for the Bills and getting the over mark.
One thing we haven't done, because just talking about fantasy, that we might think about doing, I don't know if we'll get it together this year, but next year maybe, is get a best ball league together where on a slow draft, get everybody involved. Because I don't know about you, but I really like the Underdog best balls.
I do too, yeah.
I've been doing a crap ton. In fact, right now I don't even want to look at my phone because I probably have 15 drafts going. They're all slow drafts, but I think this is the day. Maybe it happens at kickoff time, but this is the day where it goes to 4 hours.
Yeah,
as opposed to the 8 hour, and then next week it'll be down to an hour because once you get to 1 week, and I thought it was going to happen right at midnight, but maybe it happens at the kickoff of tonight's first game. Right? So when it's officially 2 weeks before the season, so like 8:20 or 8 p.m. or whatever, I think that's when they do it.
Gotcha.
Justin's a Raiders fan. Justin, our guy that comes on here on Fridays to talk college football, huge Raiders fan from way back. Red Raider Doug. That's why it's his nickname. He's a Reds fan and a Raiders fan. Don't ask me why he's a fan of both, but he grew up in the 70s and they were pretty dominant, both of them.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense because for me, there's Madden. There's not that for him growing up.
Well, what makes even less sense? Well, you got to realize in the 70s, you're talking about only getting rabbit ear TV pretty much.
Yeah.
Right? So he was getting a lot of Raiders games, evidently, and Cincinnati Reds games on national television because you didn't have access to every game.
Yeah.
But the Raiders were on the TV a lot, and the Reds were on national TV a lot. And so, and I want to say that he had some tie, like maybe a North Carolina AA or AAA team was an affiliate of the Reds.
Okay.
But anyways, that's the main reason. Now, you didn't have video games that did it. It was back then. I'm right in the middle. Like I was growing up in that era, but by the time I became late teens, early 20s, then you started getting access to more ball games.
Yeah.
I mean, believe it or not, man, like in the 70s, early 70s, when Doug was watching football, college football, you got like 2 games a week. Yeah. It was Notre Dame, that's why it's his team. And there'd be like one game for the South. And it was random. So that's why he ended up being a Notre Dame fan, because you end up following a team you can watch all the time.
Yeah.
That's why we have so many Braves fans, because they grew up watching them on TBS. You could watch it anywhere in the country.
Yep.
Good job, FCC, for screwing that freaking thing up. All right, so we're going to take the over on the Bills. I mean, I just have a hard time believing that the Bills don't get to 12 wins. 12-5 seems to me would be their floor. I think they're more like 13-4, maybe even 14-3. Next team on the docket, different scenario, the Cincinnati Bengals, as they are. You look at their schedule, and they are going to be fun to watch because their offense. They're going to be awful to watch if you're a fan because of their defense.
Yep. Yeah, especially if Trey Hendrickson's out the door, like it seems like it's the case.
And to me, what the hell? I could have swore like a month or so ago, I read a report where it was pretty much a done deal, and then something fell apart.
Yeah, he was ending his holdout, so you're thinking, oh, the contract's about to come, but nope, back on the trade block, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what in the hell happened there, but they made it sound like it was coming to an end.
Yep.
I was like, all right, well. And I hate saying, well, you paid the man the money. Because at the end of the day, all the fans say all that junk because they want the players on the field, but they don't think about the actual business side of it, especially in the National Football League where you have a hard cap.
Yeah.
And you can't just sign everybody to everything you want to sign. And they have spent money, quite a bit of money, on their offense.
Yeah, Chase and Higgins is eating up a ton of cap space right now. So, yeah, if they're not able to get that Trey Hendrickson situation sorted out, it's going to be even worse than last year, and that's scary to imagine for them. So for that reason, just because of how awful that defense is, I think their offense is going to put up a ton of points, but I don't see them going over 9.5. I'm going to go with the under on this one.
Yeah, I don't see the under hitting either, and it's honestly it's a true pick 'em.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, I don't see the over happening. I'm on the under. It's 9.5 over under. Cincinnati minus 115 on the over, minus 105 on the under. The only reason why the over is higher is because people like to bet on overs.
Yeah.
I always try to tell people that when you're looking at gambling, whether it's season long or whatever. By the way, do you know what I put together in a parlay? Because it wasn't available before, so I don't know what the hell, but it happened this week here on our Florida Sports app. I won't give the name because I'm not going to. They're crooked as hell with their line.
Yeah,
that's the short of it. I'm not going to help them do anything.
Yeah.
They didn't have a second and third and fourth book in Florida already, but they allowed me to take the under on the Saints and the over on Illinois College.
Okay.
Season long.
Gotcha.
I did a couple of others.
I like the under on the Saints.
The Michigan under. I still think it's going to be, but I still think they're not going to get to 9 wins.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you there.
And I forget what the other one was. There was another standalone. Oh no, I took the 2 standalones that we talked about last week.
Yep.
Or maybe it was Doug and I. The college football, Oregon and Penn State. They're both 10.5. I took them both over. They play each other. If you take them both over, if one of them hits, you're on the plus side.
Yeah. I was looking at
plus 20, plus 125 on the over for both of them. Now, if they both hit, you're great. But even if one hits, meaning the winner of that game, you're going to be
pretty much even.
Biscuit train with gravy wheels. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I had a parlay built last week. I didn't place it, which I regret now. But it was the Colts under and the Saints under. And because we were talking about the Colts last week,
yes,
we were talking about the Colts a couple weeks ago,
right?
And I was very heavy on the under. I'm talking like I think they're going to get 4 or 5 wins. I think they're going to go way under.
Did it move on you or something?
What's that?
Did it move on you?
I haven't checked. I'm actually interested to check now, but I would imagine it has. I would imagine it has. I
give them a better chance of winning now that Daniel Jones is the quarterback.
I agree, but that's still a very low one.
But in a perfect world, what would happen from the betting standpoint, not for him personally, but let's say they get off to 3-1 and then he gets banged up and the over goes like this. And here comes AR-15 in, turning the ball over and all kinds of stupid stuff. And the next thing you know, you're back to it. Oh my God, he sold his soul. You know who just sold his soul?
Who's that?
Who I just saw on the college football show on ESPN. He used to do it for CBS, and he does his own college thing that's pretty popular. I quit listening to him because he went off the rails with just kissing everybody's boot. But Josh Pate, I don't know if you ever watch his show.
I think I've heard the name.
It's a college football show. He's talented, but when I realized that he was kissing the boots of the media, when he came out, he didn't used to do that. And then it was very obvious that he was, in lockstep. Anyways, I just saw him pop up on ESPN.
That's the cycle of it, I guess.
They have gone to their app starting today.
Oh.
And a lot of people are going to trash it. I'm getting it. You know why I'm getting it? Because I don't have to pay for any of the Sling or YouTube TV or any of that stuff anymore. Because I don't need to pay the extra money to get the Hallmark channel.
Yeah.
I paid $30 a month and I'm out the door, and they said in October you can combine it, so I can live a month without the Fox app.
Yeah.
October 2nd or somewhere in that neighborhood, you can combine the 2 apps, ESPN and Fox, for just $10 more.
Oh, nice.
So it's going to be $29.99 a month for the ESPN. When Fox and them merge in October, it'll be $39.99. That's going to give you all the FS1s and all the other stuff. I don't know what else. I don't know if it gives you any of the news channels and stuff like that from the Disney and the Fox side. I'm not sure about that. I don't believe so. I think this is strictly sports. But man, I gotta have ESPN to be able to watch Southern college football.
Yeah.
But I can live a month without watching the Big Ten. Hell, the Big Ten, they don't play anybody in the month of October.
Yeah, that's true.
They might have one game here or there, but I'm sure Rabbit Ears will get that. All right, next one on the docket. So we're both banging the under.
Yes.
On Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, pretty confident.
That's pretty funny. I went to the Cincinnati's schedule on ESPN, and they took me directly to Cleveland. That's pretty funny. All right. Next one on the docket as we speed this up. Jets suck. The New York Jets. And I picked this one because I am banging the under all day freaking long. We kind of went over it with the fantasy side of it.
Mm.
And this is a team I was kind of quasi pulling for when Aaron Rodgers arrived.
Yeah.
Down like a rock. The first felt like right before the ink could dry, he was done. And then last year, he was actually kind of competitive offensively. They put some numbers up in the end, but they never got it together.
Yeah,
I always felt a lot of it had to do with the whole coaching situation there. Saleh was a disaster.
Yeah,
I think he's a hell of a NFL defensive football mind, but
absolutely.
I don't. Certain guys aren't leaders, and there's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody can be a general because if you have nothing but generals, no one's going to go out on the front line.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be a great defensive mind for years to come. He did great job out in San Fran before, but
I think he's back out in San Fran now. So
right, yeah, but
he'll do a great job there.
And someone's probably going to give him another chance. I know this. We all know that.
You know how the cycle goes.
It's not my team.
Yeah. Well, especially if the Jets, during this new coaching stint, if they have
somebody's asking on one of the outlets because we're on like several different social media outlets right now.
Okay.
What jersey? This is a Jameis Winston jersey. Back when he was with the Bucks, number 3.
Nice.
I know it's weird because I got the Titans hat on, but tighten up, baby.
He threw, Jameis Winston threw his first touchdown to the Titans.
Yeah, well, Jameis Winston has thrown a lot of touchdowns for other teams too. So but hey, he's one of my favorites. He's funny as hell. I can't wait for him to be in the booth.
My gosh, that's gonna be.
I cannot wait for someone. Or actually, I think he's going to be better in studio.
Yeah.
But whoever it is, they need to be back in the truck. I'd say it's probably Fox because he's already worked for them.
Yeah.
But man, you got to put him in your studio, and I mean like that. Don't give me Gronk. He's a freaking airhead.
He doesn't know it, man.
He's a dope.
Yeah.
You can't listen to him for more than 3 minutes and go, all right.
Yeah, it's hard to.
Like, dude, I can hear the echo in your head. All right, so we go to the Jets, 5.5. This is where the losses are coming. This is out the gate. Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Dallas, most likely Miami, Denver. That's 0-5.
Yeah.
0-6. That's 0-6.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to lose to Cleveland. Excuse me, not Cleveland. At New England, 0-7. Baltimore, 8. Probably at Jacksonville, 9. New England and Buffalo, 10-11.
And Atlanta. I think they could lose to Atlanta.
12. And if that's all they lose, you still don't get to 6 wins.
Yeah. It's a tough road to 6 wins. I'm gonna say that they go right over it by the skin of their teeth. I think you could have to do also with the Bills game at the end of the season potentially being a gimme game for them if the Bills are resting everyone. So, and I just think,
do they get their act together and actually tank, or do they do the stupid thing they did a few years ago where they ended up with Zach Wilson?
They'll do exactly that. And I also think it'll have to do with Aaron Glenn trying to coach for his job a little bit.
Well, but that's the thing. He just signed. Aaron Glenn's fine.
Yeah. I mean, he could, because I guess they're still paying off some of Saleh's contract, so that's a little bit of a weird one. But I don't know. I think they'll get 6 wins just based off the last 3 games of the season. I'm looking at New Orleans at home against the Patriots. I think those are 2 winnable games, and then that last game of the season could be winnable. I think they'll get there, but just right at the end of the season. So maybe whenever they start out the gates really low, like, or really poorly, like they'll start probably 1-5. I think they could win either one of those Miami or Dallas games. I think they could pick up a win there potentially. I don't want to bank on it because that's also a short week against Dallas because they're playing Monday Night Football against Miami. So they could start 1-5, maybe 0-6.
I think this offense is going to be such a disaster. It's not going to matter.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be. I just think they're going to be behind most of the time.
So that first stretch of the season is what's going to put them down for good. You think?
And also, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they end up benching Justin Fields, and then what the hell do they have? Because they're scrambling, trying to get the fans involved. Not that there's a better option than Justin Fields on the roster right now. It's just the fact of the matter is, isn't Taylor still over there?
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor's a backup. Yeah. Which
so I can see them go, oh well, he gives a more mature approach. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
This week we'll only lose 28-12 as opposed to 35-7, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be like whatever, dude. I think what
the
wins come from New Orleans, Cleveland. Now I'm not sure. Like those are the only two that I'm going to say yes. I don't think even at home against Carolina's a gimme win for them.
No, Carolina's solid.
Yeah, that's so. I just don't see how they get to 6.
That's fair. I think what the play might be
number, but then you go, holy crap, what is going on over here?
Yeah, that's true. I think what the best play might be is if they start 1-5 or 0-6, like we think. See what the line would be then if you want to bet on it.
All right, so we move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and see, this is if Doug was on here right now, this is one of his hates, one of his true hates, because he grew up in the 70s, Steelers, Raiders, like that was kids growing up now that might be a Raiders or Steelers fans, they don't even understand that hate.
Nope.
But just like kids that grew up in my era, if you're a 49er fan, you hate the Cowboys and vice versa.
Yep.
You may not have that kind of hate right now. You probably more hate the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, we go to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they are 8.5 over under. And Tomlin, I trust. Give me the over.
That's the exact thing.
He's not going to have a losing season.
The exact thing I have written down in my notes here. Tomlin never goes below 500. He just doesn't. He doesn't. That's the Mike. At all costs, Mike Tomlin will go above 500.
He has done this before. You could get screwed and do the 8-1 and go, damn it. You always forget that in NFL, a tie is possible. It's not like
it is true. It is, and if it's going to be a team to do it, it'll be the Steelers going 8-1. They'd be the ones to do it. I'm going to go with the over though here. I think I like some of the moves they made in the offseason. I like getting DK Metcalf. I think he's an upgrade over George Pickens as their one.
Honestly, they've got the best quarterback that they've had since Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, granted, he's in his prime, but I think him and Tomlin are going to be an interesting pair.
Yeah, and then like you said, it's not a very high bar to meet, but he is the best quarterback they've had in a long time. So.
And he won't say stupid, cringy stuff like Mr. Unlimited. He's someone that the people like or hate, but they do respect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're not going to have a cornball, and you're not going to have a kid that, honestly, I don't think Justin Fields has ever been given a chance to actually flourish whatever he could have been. He's moved around so much, and when he went to Pittsburgh, I still say they shouldn't have benched him.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. They should have.
Was okay, but Justin Fields, if you were trying to build for the future and seeing what you could do, Justin Fields was a better answer, or at least some kind of combination to let him take off with his legs, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you look at this season coming up, and man, Pittsburgh's got to find 9 wins. I'm going to find them for you real quick. You ready?
Go for it.
Jets, home against Seattle. They don't beat New England, but at home against Minnesota, home against Cleveland, everyone's going to be singing their praises. They'll probably get smoked in Cincinnati just because of the offense.
Yeah.
Home against the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Home against the Bengals. Home against the Dolphins. At Cleveland. Then I just need one more.
And you got that Chicago game sitting in there. I don't think you mentioned the Chargers at all.
No, I did because both road games, so I don't assume those, but they just got to win one of those.
And that's if they lose to New England.
Right.
If they lose to New England, which I think that's still a very winnable game. It's going to be tough going into Gillette Stadium, but I think they can do it.
Yeah, I have them losing to New England.
Yeah. I think they'll start 3-1. I think they'll drop one of either the New England or the Minnesota games. I think they'll lose one of those two.
Yeah, I agree. All right, and the last one on the docket, we got the Denver Broncos. And I chose them because I feel like this is going to be an interesting season for the Broncos. Their over-under is 9.5, and that is a difficult call. That's another reason why I picked it, is because I felt like it wasn't a layup one way or the other. I kind of want to get your take on it, and then I'll give you mine. There we go. Who do you have over under Broncos? They got to get to 10 wins, and it's plus money, plus 100. If you take the unders, minus 130. So not a terrible payout.
Yeah, I'm going to go the under here. They have some tough teams riddled throughout their schedule. And also, I'm not totally sold by Knicks, and I don't want to count on a sophomore slump. I think I don't like to assume a quarterback's going to go through it. But I can see that happening with Bo Nix, and I can see him taking a little bit of a step back from his rookie year. In that division, it's going to be a tough bar to get 10 wins. And there's also that team's not incredible top to bottom. There's still some deficiencies in that roster. So I'm going to go under 9.5. 10 wins is not easy to get to.
DW3 Steelers are not beating my Jets. We'll see.
I got some bad news.
And John, for some reason, can't stand Mike Tomlin. What? Jeez, man. You probably hate ice cream too. Like, what are we talking about?
How can you hate Tomlin?
He's a Buffalo Bills fan. He's done too many nosedives off of those flimsy tables before game time.
Brain.
I'm going to take the over for Denver.
Okay.
I got to get to 10 wins, but I also get to have 7 losses.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to be right there in the playoff hunt. And when I see gimme games, so this doesn't quite get me there, but these are games that I think they're going to win for Denver. They're going to beat Tennessee at home. They're going to beat the Bengals at home. They're going to smoke the Jets at home. Well, no, actually, that's not at home. That's over in London. That's kind of a toss-up, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. You never know what the hell is going to happen when they go overseas.
Yeah.
They're gonna then come back and play New York Giants. That should be a win. But they're not. I will say one thing: they're not getting a week off in between trips to London. So that's
what's going to be tricky. I think they'll probably. Yeah, I think they'll lose that Giants game because of that.
Most teams take their bye week then, but they're not doing it.
Yeah.
And they're coming from Denver too. They're not coming from. It's not like, in other words, if New England or New York is going over into London, it's really not that big of a trip. But that's going to be dicey. But I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I think they'll beat the Raiders at home. I think if it was on the road game, they'll probably lose. And I think they'll beat Jacksonville at home. I lost count. I think that's it. 5 or 6. LA at home. Chargers. And so you only have to get a few other wins in like games like at Houston are winnable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I mentioned at the Colts. That's winnable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think they're going to get to the 10-7, but I think you're going to be white knuckling it down the backstretch. You're going to be 3 wide into the corner, and you may not even make the playoffs, but I do think they get to 10 wins.
It'll be close regardless. Yeah, I just think that London trip's going to be dicey for them, either losing that game in London or coming back from it. I think that's going to pose some problems for them. I'm not 100% sold on Bo Nix, and there's the potential of a sophomore slump, and his receiving core isn't the best. So I'll go right at 9 wins. I think they're going to fall just short of it. But it's very possible.
Fair. I just say that's one of the reasons why I picked it, is because I wanted to see where your head was at on it. I just think they're going to get some wins, and they're probably going to get some losses you don't expect to see, but they're going to get some wins that you don't expect to see.
Yep.
They're going to split with the Chiefs. I don't think they get swept by the Chiefs.
Yeah.
They're probably going to split with the Raiders. But you look at that division and probably split with the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
You look at that division. If you gave me a pick, are they going to go 2-4, 4-2 the division? I'm going to say they'll go 4-2. But it's probably more likely that they go 3-3.
Yeah.
But games like when you get to play both New York football teams, you know how bad they're going to be. And the Giants, I think, are actually going to have a puncher's chance to be scary. We're coming up on time. What is your walk-off?
My walk-off, we're coming up on the NFL season starting. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, there's not a whole lot else to say.
Well, my walk-off for today is, first of all, we'll be back tomorrow morning for the college football show, same time, same bat time, same bat channel, 9 a.m. Eastern. We'll be going over the Southeastern Conference tomorrow. And then after that, we're doing the college football predictions. Next week here, we're going to be doing the NFL predictions for the championship, playoffs, the whole 9 yards. The following week is the live fantasy draft, and then that begins the football season. And we'll start doing some pick'ems at that point. Do you got anything in the world, and I won't count it against your record, but do you have anything in the world of the NFL preseason schedule as we know it that you like going into the weekend?
Can you say that again? Sorry.
The NFL preseason schedule that we have this weekend.
Yeah. It
doesn't have to be like the game tonight, but do you have any picks that you like, over-unders, anything like that?
No, I'm staying away from any betting lines on preseason. Just too up in the air.
The only thing I know to be true, and I always say it's true, bet the Ravens.
They're going to try
to win the game, even if you have to tease it.
Yeah.
Because they give a crap about it for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Once I know their winning streak ended, was it last year?
I believe so, yeah.
You win like 3,000 games in a row in preseason, whatever the hell it was. It was like it was like Cal Ripken type of like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We're game planning for preseason. They're playing the Commanders, and they're 2-0 once again this year. By the way, that's Saturday at noon. What a weird. Oh, this is interesting. You know the only way you're going to be able to get that game?
How's that?
I knew there was a reason why they released it today.
Yeah.
You're only going to be able to see it on the ESPN app.
Oh, there you go.
That's what it says. It's on ESPN Unlimited. I didn't know they were calling it that.
Mr.
We gotta get Russell Wilson in there.
He's in their creative team.
ESPN Unlimited. All right, buddy. Great job. We'll see you next week. We'll be one step closer to the real deal. Next week, once again, it's going to be all about the championship aspects, making the playoffs, winning the Super Bowl, winning the conference, that kind of stuff. And Bobby, shoot me your picks sometime this weekend. Give me about a half dozen of who you want to go over, and then I'll do the same.
Absolutely.
Y'all have a great one.
Well, the season's finally here, and the players...
Hey, football fans, you ready for the gridiron? Thursday and Friday mornings, the Armchair Quarterback Show returns, 9 a.m. Eastern. We'll be talking college and NFL football, the point spreads, fantasy football advice, and more. Want to catch it live? Become a Country Club member today here on Braves Country Radio. We'll make the replay available to the public later on that day, as we're being broadcasted nationwide on independent radio stations. As a member catching it live, you can ask your questions. We'll answer all. Point spread advice, player props, your fantasy football questions. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, Thursday and Friday mornings this fall here on Braves Country Radio.